Hello guys, my name is Thomas Jor and today I represent you my Bujin deck profile. Bujins are light Beast Warrior Beast type monsters that they are used to have a helmet type of build. Helmet I mean you play a monster and you try to protect it. Alongside it can have a very huge speed stairs and it OTKs the opponent. So let's begin. First we play 2 Bujin Hiruko. Hiruko is a normal pendulum monster, and also has a pendulum effect. The pendulum schemes are not used, at least in the time that I record this video. So the effect states that you can banish this card from your pendulum zone, target 1 Bujin Xyz monster you control, special summon from your extra deck 1 Bujin Xyz monster with different name by using that target as an Xyz material. And also this is counts as an Xyz material, Xyz summon effect, then you transfer the Xyz material to that monster. So it's very good to switch in case we need something else. The most stable monster is Susano, which I will talk about later, and it's good to have in 2 copies. Next we have 3 Bujin Hirume. Hirume is a monster that you cannot normal summon or set. It must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing 1 Bujin monster from your graveyard, except Bujin Hirume. And if this card, which is summoned this way, is destroyed by an opponent's battle or card effect and sent to a graveyard from inside the field, you can both players have a hand. You can discard 1 card, then your opponent discards 1 card. We don't use this effect often. We go for an Xyz Father for our Susano and Bujin monsters. Next we play Mikazuchi. Mikazuchi is a monster that if you control another Beast Warrior Bujin monster, you can it's destroyed by battle card effect and sent to the graveyard. You can special summon this card from your hand, and once per turn during the end phase, if a card is sent from your hand to the graveyard while this card is in phase up and we have it out our control, we can add 1 Bujin spell trap from our deck to the hand, so it's very good and very neat in that case. Next we play 3 Bujin Yamato. Yamato is a monster that it's the most stable monster on the entire build. Once per turn during the end phase, you can add 1 Bujin monster from your deck to your hand and then send 1 card from your deck to the from your hand to the graveyard. So that means we add and send and we fix our hands. That's a very old school, but very good in case you have it needed. Next we play 1 Arasuda. Arasuda is a monster that if a Bujin monster is in your graveyard and or face up on the first side of the field and is banished, you can special summon this card from your hand and face up defense position. Once per turn during the end phase, if a Bujin card was added from your deck to your hand this turn, you accept by drawing. While you control this face up card, you draw 1 card and discard 1 card. So in the combo that I am showcasing with Ties of the Brethren, you will have these 3 monsters. That means you at the end of the turn you add 1 card, send 1 card to a graveyard. That will proc Arasuda first and Mikazuchi second. And why we want to do that is by having this effect, we first add 1 Bujin spell and trap to our hand, and then by having Arasuda we can discard that card to draw 1 in case we need it. Because we need to fix our hand as fast as possible and to have a board to OTK our opponent. And that's the whole idea of the entire build, but they will have the support very soon. Next we play 1 Turtle. When during either player's turn, when an effect is activated that targets 1 Bujin monster you control, you can banish this card and negate that effect. Hare, it has the same effect, but it prevents it from distraction by battle, and that's very good. Distraction by battle and card effect, sorry I forget that effect as well. 1 Quilling to banish it during our turn to destroy 1 face up card that your opponent controls. 2 Cranes to boost our attacks to double our original attack to decay the opponent and it's searchable by Susano. 1 Sinew during either player's turns, it's like a reverse honest effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard and the monster you control gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster until the end. And if it does that, all the damage that they take is halved. that's not very useful, but it's a reverse honest and it's very good to have in this kind of build. Next we play 3 the OG honest, you know, any light monsters that attack gains the attack equal to the attacking monster that they are facing. So it's very good, and OTK is very easy. Fully Spirial to fix our graveyard. Ties of the Brethren to use for the combo. It's very good and very stable in the entire build. 1 Bujin Carnation in case we need to, if your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, which it can happen very easy, and it's searchable with Mikazuchi. You can target 1 Bujin monster in your graveyard, and if you do, and one of your banished monsters, and special summon both of them and exceed summon them at that turn. So it's very good and very useful as a one-off copy, and it's very neat to have. 1 Monster Reborn staple, and 1 Ice Rock Sunshine. You can target 1 Beast type monster in your graveyard. That means Turtle, Hare, Crane, or anything like that, to special summon them, and the opponent monsters, special monsters, lose 200 attack for each beast plant and win monsters you currently go in your graveyard. So it's not the best, but it's another Monster Reborn and has an effect that it's only once per turn. That's why we play 1. If it was twice or anything like that, doesn't have the close, we prefer to use this instead of Monster Reborn most of the instances. But it's very good to have in this build. Next we play 2 Pot of Duality to fix our hands. We don't often go for special summoning, so it's very good. 3 Tenki, because we want to add our Beast Warrior Yamato most of the time in our hand. 1 Called by the Grave, because we hate hand traps, but they're not the best thing to stop this deck, because this deck, it's very old and they don't prefer to use their effects in these cards anymore. Next we play 1 Bujin Regalia the Sword. It has 2 unique effects. We add it with Mikazuchi. We target 1 Bujin monster in our graveyard, add to the hand, 1 Crane in most of the cases, and we can target 1 banished monster and send it back to the graveyard. So to have again and use it once more. Next we play 3 Witch Strike. It's a card that when you normal special summon or there is an effect that negates the activation of a card effect, destroy all cards in your opponent's hand and in their graveyard and in the entire board, and send them to the graveyard. So it's very good, and it provides the most cases that we try to win, to have a very good defensive card to nuke the entire board, and then they cannot turn back after that. And last but not least, we play the 3 Lost Winds to send to the graveyard with the effects of Bujin monsters we have. And yeah, to set it again if they special summon a monster, to use the effect to make their attack less, so to bypass it with Susano or other Bujin monsters. Now for the extra deck, we play the one and only Drill Driver Vespenado. I won't explain it again because it's in all my videos really, and it's very good to have. We play 1 Bujinki Amaterasu. It has 3 materials. You can target 1 of your banished level 4 or lower monsters, special summon that target. In your opponent's turn, you can target 1 of your banished 4 or lower monsters, add the target to the hand. So it's very good to have as a one-off, but not the best. Next we play 2 Bujente Kaguchuchi. Kaguchuchi is a monster that when it's exist sound, you send the 5 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and the entire deck in case it's less than 5, but we don't prefer to use that effect when we have that problem. And also this card gains 100 attack for each Bujin card that is sent to a graveyard by its effect. If a Bujin Beast monster will be Bujin Beast Warrior monster, it's going to be destroyed by battle or card effect. You can touch 1 extra material from this card instead of destroying that monster. It's not once per turn, you can have it all the time, and it's very good to have in this build and in all builds, Bujin builds specifically. 1-time Thief Redoer, very good boss monster in case we need it, accompanied by 3 Bujinki Susano. Susano is a monster that it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and that's the way you OTK most of the time the opponent. And also you can attach 1 extra material from this card to take 1 Bujin monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send to a graveyard. We add the Crane most of the time to have 4,800 attack to attack all monsters your opponent controls and potentially beat them and OTK them at the same time. Next we play one Brotherhood of Fire Fist Tiger King, a very good good way to search our Tenki to go in follow-up plays, and also it has a negate effect by sending one one Tenki that we have in this build to the graveyard. Next play number 82 Heartland Drago to attack in case if we have a Tenki on the board, to finish the opponent by having 2000 attack straight to the face. Next we play one Starlich Paladinamo, because it requires 2 level 4 light monsters, and once per turn you can attach 2 materials, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to attack, to 0, and if you do, it has its effects negated. And if this card is destroyed by an opponent's card, battle or card effect, and sent to graveyard, draw 1 card to keep having cards to attack and potentially defend ourselves. Next, we play the last 2 monsters for the Xyz. It's Bujin Chukuyomi. Again, 2 level 4 light monsters, which is the entire deck in this build. And if you do that, you can send your entire hand to the graveyard, minimum 1, to draw 2 cards. It's a pot of greed by having a cost, and also it replaces itself most of the time. And also, when this card is controlled, it's face up, leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect. You can target a 1 level 4 or lower Bujin monster in your graveyard up to the number of Xyz material this card had to the field and spell summon on this target. So in this deck, it's pretty good in case you want it to have on the field, but most of the time we prefer to OTK the opponent. And last, for the Link monsters, it's 2 Bujinki Ahasima. Ahasima is a monster that it's very nice to have in any build, I think, because it's generic. It requires 2 monsters with the same level, and also it has that effect that it cannot be used as a link material, so it's not a problem, but it has that amazing effects. So if this card is link summoned, you can special summon 2 monsters, 1 monster from your hand and 1 from your graveyard, but the negated effects, and Xyz summon 1 Xyz monster using those monsters only. That effect is pretty generic, and I think it's one of the best cards to go with rank 4 engines, and only have 1, it's very good. And also, the other effect states that if an Xyz monster, this card points to activate its effect by detaching an Xyz material, you can target 1 spell and trap your opponent controls and destroy it. It doesn't state face up or face or set, so that means it's an MST and a free Xyz summon in any monster that you like. So yeah, that's for the entire build, and hope you enjoyed this, guys. See you again. Bye bye.